master's in nutrition as well. So I was asked to come here and do a little talk about nutrition and wellness, and I thought I would do a talk on inflammation and how inflammation kind of affects your body in multiple different ways, and different ways that we can help get rid of inflammation in our bodies. So inflammation controls our lives. Have you ever met somebody who has dealt with migraines, has had a stroke, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, thyroid issues, or even cancer? All of these issues have in common, they have dealt with some kind of inflammation aspect to them. So inflammation really is the root cause of many different diseases in our bodies, and what causes many of these diseases to show up. So what we want to focus on is where inflammation starts. Inflammation starts in the gut, in our small intestine, large intestine, and stomach, our gut. So a little bit of anatomy of our gut is our gut has a really intricate semi-permeable lining. So the cells that are in the gut that are responsible for absorbing the nutrients, absorbing vitamins and other stuff that we eat, that lining is full of cells, and those cells let in certain vitamins, certain nutrients, and they're responsible for keeping out, the bad bacteria, the bad viruses, undigested food particles, or, some other stuff like that. So what happens is the cells that are lining the gut all have little finger-like projections that stick off, and they're responsible for grabbing the food particles, or grabbing the food, grabbing the nutrients, the vitamins that pass between, and bringing them into the cell, where then the cell can absorb the nutrients and then pass it through, like on your little picture there, and pass them through into the bloodstream. Here, I have more pictures. If you guys didn't get them, I'll just leave them right up here at the front if you want. So it's important for the cell to bring in the nutrients into the cell, process it in that cell, and then push it on into the bloodstream, where then those vitamins and nutrients and minerals can all get into the bloodstream and actually get throughout the body and affect the body. So what happens is there's a condition called leaky gut syndrome. So leaky gut is where those cells are real tightly packed together, and they're held together by proteins called tight junctions. So those tight junctions hold the cells real close together. What happens is those tight junctions break and cause space in between each cell. So now bad stuff, bacteria, viruses, undigested food can now leak in between the cells there in the lining, and get straight into the bloodstream and then circulate throughout the body. This drives inflammation. This causes a lot of inflammation, causes a lot of sickness. A lot of people say that your gut is your first line of defense to any type of infection or illness. So it's important to keep that gut tight together in order for it to keep out any of the bad bacteria. One of these molecules, larger molecules that shouldn't pass through but do when you have leaky gut, is called LPS. So that's for short. For long, what it's really called is lipopolysaccharide. So for short, LPS, we'll call it LPS. This is a component of the outer shell of bacteria that live in your gut. So, little sidetrack, you have a lot of bacteria that are in your gut. This is totally healthy. It's good for the bacteria to be in your gut. You have billions of cells of bacteria that are responsible for helping digest different foods, processing the foods so that your body can actually absorb them properly. Without the bacteria that's in your gut, you would probably not live, honestly. So all that bacteria in your gut is responsible for keeping you healthy, and you want a lot of bacteria, and you want it very diverse. So different species of bacteria. You don't want one specific bacteria to overpopulate and take over, basically. So, but back to the LPS. The LPS is a component of that outer membrane of the bacteria that's in your gut. Every once in a while, one of those might break off and go through the gut, and eventually it just goes out if your gut is healthy. However, with the leaky gut, that molecule can now leak in between those cells and get into the bloodstream. When that LPS gets in the bloodstream, that LPS has been researched to go directly to the brain and affect a lot of neurological issues like Parkinson's, MS, multiple sclerosis, dementia, Alzheimer's, things like depression and anxiety. That LPS has been directly related to affect issues neurologically. So along with the inflammation that leaky gut causes, it also causes this larger molecule LPS to leak into and get to the brain, where it can cause a lot of different other neurological issues. So if we go a little back to inflammation, one could even argue that without inflammation, many diseases would cease to exist. So inflammation is a big driver of many different conditions. It's what makes a lot of conditions perceptible to an individual. So now, how do we get leaky gut? How does that kind of start, I guess? How do those tight junctions break? Things like different hormones, stress hormone. If you have a lot of stress in your life, that stress hormone can actually get into the gut and cause those tight junctions to break apart and result in leaky gut. Another thing that you do each and every day, that many of you do, is eat certain foods. You might be sensitive to. So there's a difference between an allergy, a sensitivity, and an intolerance. Many of you have heard of allergies. You were probably born with them. You know you have them, such as like peanut allergy. They are real quick. You break out in hives. Could be fatal. Depends on how much of a allergy you have to a certain food. And then an intolerance is similar, but it's where you can't break down certain foods, like lactose. You can't break down the lactose molecule. It goes through your body. You kind of get the bloating in your gut when you eat something with lactose. And then a food sensitivity. Now, many people don't know what a food sensitivity is because it has a delayed reaction. It can happen later that night or up to 2 days later. So this is a lot slower of an immune response than an allergy. And this causes, so when you eat a certain food, your body has this immune reaction that takes time to process, and it's a lot slower, and it can cause things like migraines and drive inflammation too. So you might have a migraine today, and let's say you ate a food 2 days ago that you were sensitive to, your body reacted to, you probably don't relate those two things together. And it could be something healthy. For me, I did a food sensitivity test, and I was sensitive to avocados. Now, avocados, we were supposed to have a speaker on ketogenic diet. Avocados are one of the best foods to eat for the ketogenic diet and just in general to be healthy. But for me, whenever I ate an avocado, my body was having this exaggerated immune response, causing driving inflammation and causing me to not feel good, days down the line. So I was able to then remove avocados from my diet for 3 months, and then now I can reintroduce avocados and start eating these again because my body, the antibodies have gone away and everything like that. There's some foods that you're going to have to remove forever, and it's just how your body is. And then there's some foods that you might be able to reintroduce in your body. So most people, you eat. For me, I ate an avocado, 2 days later had a headache. I would never relate that avocado, let alone that it's a healthy food, to the headache that I had 2 days later. So that's food sensitivities. And that is a big driver of that leaky gut, which then leaky gut, we talked, lets that LPS molecule in, drives inflammation up in your body, and causes all of those different diseases. So what can you do? That's what we really want. So eating healthy is obviously one of the biggest things, of all of this, and so that is avoiding sugars and avoiding carbohydrates. Sugars and carbs all cause those tight junctions to break down and drives inflammation, drives leaky gut. And then eating healthy, so sticking to healthy fats like avocados or different seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, all that kind of stuff are really healthy fats. and then sticking to the ketogenic diet, which I wish you guys would have heard that talk if she was here. But feel free to Google it. It's ketogenic. It's reducing the amount of sugar you have and adding in healthy fats, like from what you get from seeds and what you get from avocados. Repairing the gut is the next step that's really important. Supplements, if you guys want to write these down, like turmeric and resveratrol. These two supplements together have been researched to actually repair those tight junctions that attribute to leaky gut. And turmeric, when it gets into the bloodstream, it actually binds to that molecule LPS and helps remove it from the system. So turmeric and resveratrol are two really helpful supplements that you can take to help with leaky gut and get rid of the inflammation that's in your body. Along with turmeric and resveratrol, vitamin D and vitamin A have also been shown to have really helpful effects in cleaning up the gut and cleaning up inflammation in the body. And then another one that's important is probiotics. So repopulating that gut that we talked about with healthy bacteria. Trying to get your gut full of different diverse species, different bacteria, and a good amount of bacteria. Because we know that the gut microbiome, it's called, is really important for digesting food and processing food in that way. So eating healthy, repairing the gut actually, and then food sensitivity testing. So finding out what foods you are sensitive to, causing these reactions in your body time after time after you eat them. So if you're eating healthy and you're repairing the gut, but you're constantly eating foods that you're breaking down more things, it's just going to kind of keep going. And you'll never actually get the gut fully repaired. So a little on that little half sheet, I spelled out leaky or leaky gut. So the L is for learning about your goals, learning about what you want to do, getting rid of inflammation. E for eliminating certain foods that are not good for you. A for adding healthy foods. The K for knowing the supplements, knowing the healthy supplements, turmeric and resveratrol, vitamin D, vitamin A, and probiotics. And then Y for yin and yang of your bacteria. You want that to be nice and balanced, nice and diverse. Community for your bacteria in there. So, as an overview for you guys, inflammation causes a lot of different diseases. Inflammation drives different diseases, and the largest trigger of inflammation comes from your gut. If you can clean up your gut, that will clean up a lot of inflammation throughout your body. Then things like LPS, that molecule that gets into your system when you have leaky gut, that can also cause a lot of different neurological issues. Leaky gut, what it's caused by, the food sensitivities, stress hormone, there's other things too. And then ways to clean up the leaky gut by eating healthy, by removing foods that aren't healthy, by repairing the gut, and by testing to see what kind of things are attacking your body over and over. So, thank you guys all for listening to my talk. I will be around for questions. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I can go into the ketogenic diet a little bit. So, basically, as Americans, we eat probably 80% carbohydrates right now, and then maybe 10% of fats and 10% protein. What we really want to do is switch that around, and for years, fat has been labeled as a bad thing to eat because you think you're eating fat, you're going to get fat kind of thing, but that's actually the reverse. If you want your diet to be about 80%, 70% maybe in healthy fats. So things like avocados, different coconut, cooking with coconut oil is definitely good. All different types of seeds. So if you eat a salad, put some chia seeds, some flax seeds, some hemp seeds, all in there, and that gets you a good amount of healthy fats that can really process better in the body than sugars and carbohydrates can. So it's a kind of a long diet, not a long diet, but a diet that at the beginning, if you're really strict with it, there's a period where you might not feel good right away off the bat. because your body's kind of shifting. It shifts from burning sugar and glucose to burning something called ketones, which are a molecule in fat. So you're kind of shifting from burning sugar and getting like, you eat something, you get really hyper for a second, and then you kind of crash. Versus burning ketones, you burn the ketone, they're a lot longer, they're a lot bigger molecules, so you get energy that lasts a lot longer. But that process of your body kind of switching from burning sugar to burning ketones, you might feel a little sluggish, a little tired, but then once your body fully converts, you'll have a lot more energy. Your body will function a lot better, and it's been proven to prevent a lot of different diseases too. So,
Matthew.
Sorry. Ketone.
But the diet.
Oh, ketogenic. Ket, keto, Genic. There you go. Yeah. Anywhere, if you're really strict on it and don't, like, you reduce your sugar and carbohydrate intake to under, let's say, 40 grams of sugar a day, if you're pretty strict, keeping that under 40 grams, it could take maybe 2 to 3 weeks to get your body to shift over into it's called a state of ketosis, so you're burning ketones instead of the sugar that we eat. So, and then once you get into that state of ketosis and you start feeling better, it's okay to have a couple slices of pizza every once in a while, like once a week maybe, because your body, as long as you stay in that other way, if you eat a little bit of sugar, you won't jump right back. Now, if you eat a bunch of sugar, drink a bunch of beer, have some candy, you'll probably revert back to the sugar state burning, and then go back to the old way. So, yeah. Yeah, and they are. Fruits, her question was, she's eating a lot of fruits, but then someone said fruits are full of sugar. And that's very true. Fruits were initially designed to be a dessert. They were our dessert. And so if you're, but see, like, if you think about it, eating an apple is a lot better than eating a bag of chips. So if that's your goal to get a little bit healthier, that's a huge step. So I would definitely advocate for eating more fruits than the chips. However, if you want to get even to the next step of healthy, you got to remove some of those fruits too. And eating fruits in the morning is sometimes not as good either, because your body has the low sugar from the night, and then kind of that influx of sugar can kind of hurt it a little bit. So if you were to drink a smoothie, or let's say, something like that, maybe do that for lunch or something, or as a supplement to dinner, or like a snack. Yeah. But it's still healthier than eating pancakes and syrup, So if you think about it that way, you're still doing, healthy. So, how many pieces of fruit? Anywhere, you could have like an apple and a banana, like 2 servings of fruit a day. So, would be good. And vegetables, keep eating all your vegetables. All those are good. And then the other thing with fruit is it does have fiber in the fruit, which helps process the sugar too. So there's a lot of fruit juices that you can buy apple juice, grape juice and stuff. That doesn't have the fiber that like an apple, an original apple does. So when you drink the juice, you're getting all the sugar and none of the fiber, versus if you eat an apple, you're getting the fiber and the sugar, which kind of balances that out too. So grams, I'm not exactly sure on exact amount. What? keep your carbohydrates, if you're going for the diet, keep them under 40 grams. And you can look up the food labels. They normally tell you how many grams of carbohydrates and grams of sugar are in certain foods that you eat.
Is that 40 grams per meal?
No, 40 grams all day. Yeah, it's a very minimal amount, so it's a pretty strict diet to begin with. But as you get into it, it's really you feel way better eating that way. So.
Someone.
Yes. So if somebody came in to see me, I would definitely start with doing some blood work and looking at what their blood levels are at, and then getting them. You got to take baby steps. You got to start with changing something in their diet, whether they are snacking too much and eating chips. Just cutting that out to start. It depends on where you're at, kind of getting a history, and then food sensitivity testing would be a big thing too, because you see that you're reacting to certain foods and you're eating those every day. That's causing a lot more inflammation, a lot more of that leaky gut. So cutting those foods out would be a good start to do. So. Any other questions? And I'll be around too if you guys want to come up to me and ask me anything specific. I'll be around. So thank you all for coming and listening to my talk. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.